All right, everyone, we are on the draw, and even though we have like two come to play tap lands. We have 1 mana and 2 mana spells, so we're gonna keep it. If we draw an untapped source, our hand is great, and we did. And this is actually gonna work out pretty well for us. So, I think I'm gonna be playing the Evolving Wilds first. And then probably go 2-drop, and then on turn 3, because I have 2 basics, this will come into play untapped, and I'll be able to cast 2 spell, or like 3 mana worth of spells in that turn. So we might be up against some sort of Emrakul mirror. I'd have to guess that is actually what we're up against, considering our opponent played a Vessel of Nascency. So this is a situation where we do want to kind of play things in as fast of a manner as possible. And by fast, I mean like ramping up, getting more mana, not really worrying about cards like Kozilek's Return and Fiery Impulse. And sometimes with these kind of decks, you can sort of run out of forests, even though there are a bunch. So I'm actually just going to get a mountain here. So there's a little bit of tension with my turn 2 play here. I kind of want to cast something that will get land drops, but Grapple the Pass is something that I really like to have be the last thing that I cast. Under normal circumstances, I would prefer to cast something like Vessel of Nascency first to fill up my graveyard, and then cast Grapple, because Grapple can get anything in my graveyard. But I just want to use my mana efficiently, and I don't really want to cast Gather the Pack right now because it can't get a land, so I'm just going to cast this Grapple. Actually, this is an instant, so I could have done it later, but and we'll just get back Forest. With the next Grapple the Pass, we might think about getting that Ulvenwald Hydra back, depending on where we're at with mana. We also have Spell Mastery at this point, so this Gather the Pack is basically turned on to get potentially 2 things. There's not that many creatures in the deck, though, so hitting 2 creatures out of 5 cards is kind of unlikely. So it looks like we're up against Owen's Temur Emerge deck. In which case it'll pay off a lot to have access to these instant sources. Might as well play the Cinder Glade. It would have been really nice to have something like a Nissa's Pilgrimage that turn. So far, we're not really doing anything unfair with our mana. We're not actually ramping up. So let's see. Worldbreaker seems like it's pretty good in this matchup. I don't think the Sylvan Advocate is going to do a whole lot, and Emrakul is much farther down the line, so we're going to be taking this Worldbreaker. Now our opponent is probably trying to decide if he wants to tap us out during our upkeep, and he is. And now we will cash in one of these Grapple the Pasts. So in this case, he's only denying us 1 mana. Ooh, so we can leave that Drownyard Temple in there. Get that later. And we'll just get this Forest. Let's see, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just get the Forest. Wow, and we even have a Vessel. So granted, our opponent's going to hit us for 5 and have us on a relatively quick clock, but you know, at least he only really denied us of 1 mana that turn. But we really need to get some sort of big fatty online to play defense. This Elder Deep Fiend is actually quite difficult for us to deal with. Not having something like a Nissa's Pilgrimage is kind of unfortunate. So we might actually want to end up grappling back our Ulvenwald Hydra. So we're gonna hit for 6 this turn, go to 8. We have 5 types, so we need 8 mana in order to Emrakul. We probably want an Emrakul in our hand soon. But for this specific turn, I don't think it makes sense to really do anything yet. Might actually not even cast our Vessel and just Drownyard Temple and Grapple, because that would bump us up to 7 mana. And then we would just be 1 away from Emrakul. So we would be able to untap, play Worldbreaker, hit another land drop, and play Emrakul. And we're going to be in trouble if our opponent hits a another Deep Fiend. But if he doesn't hit another Deep Fiend, we might be okay. So that's where we're going to play to. This isn't like sorcery speed, right? Oh. So another Elder Deep Fiend probably means that we're just dead. And if he doesn't have a Deep Fiend, we'll probably be okay. Oh, that's probably going to be a Deep Fiend. So our opponent has Delirium. Yeah, there's a Deep Fiend. So that's a big problem. So now we're going to have to readjust our plan. What can we do? Opponent's going to have us dead on his turn. I think we're actually just dead. So our opponent like misclicks. Just remember that Nissa buys us a turn. So we're gonna... I think Nissa actually buys us a turn. So opponent can only tap 4 lands. And then we'll have 1 left over. So I guess we kind of hit like the one card we could have. I guess actually Sylvan Advocate was also another consideration there to make it so that we didn't die. This is just like a better chump blocker because she comes with a land. Actually, she can flip and make a token. So we're actually all set. And now we have our Emrakul for the following turn. So there might be a way out of this. Might just barely get through this by the skin of our teeth. Oh, we don't get to play it, so of course. Still decent enough trump blocker, though. Oh, we're dead. We actually might have just been dead there anyway, but I enjoyed the drama. All right, so for sideboarding, I don't think Ishkanah is going to be playing any defense in this matchup. Another Nissa seems good, and the Shaman of Forgotten Ways actually seems like a good way to go a little faster. Fire Impulse doesn't really kill anything. I don't think the Kozilek's returns really do anything either. So another Ulamog's probably good. I feel like the 3 mana stuff is kind of decent. And Greenwarden seems like gas. So we're sideboarding in a way where you just have more fat. Our reactive elements like Fire Impulse and Kozilek's Return are kind of out of place. We are boarding in threats that can die to Kozilek's Return, but at least they get some value. And I mean, our Kozilek's Returns aren't going to do anything. So, so now we are just more fat, faster, and I think that's what we want for this matchup. Being on the play is a pretty big deal. Unfortunately, we can't. Well, actually, can we keep this hand? So we play Game Trail on turn 1. On turn 2, we can traverse for another land and play the Vessel of Nascency. And then if we hit a third land, we can just immediately play Nissa's Pilgrimage. But if we don't, we can crack the Vessel to try to hit a land. So even though this is a one-lander, I actually think this is a keep. Keeping a one-lander with a ramp deck, it's not something that you often do. But I think this is the situation where we're kind of calling for it. So... And even if we do hit our land drop on turn 3, we may actually prefer to just crack a Vessel instead, just so that we can cast Nissa's Pilgrimage with Spell Mastery, because Traverse is gonna get us, you know, part of the way to Spell Mastery. So. Come on, I have sixth. But actually has kind of a sweet icon up here. I guess that's like some sort of Birds of Paradise. I feel like his Birds of Paradise is nicer than mine. And look at this one-land hand. We didn't even draw a land yet, and we're okay. Doing just fine. That last game seems super play-draw dependent, so it's certainly unfortunate that we were on the draw. But, you know, that's just the way it goes. And we better hit a land here, otherwise we are in trouble. We hit a land, but it comes to play tapped. We are going to have Spell Mastery, though, so there's a silver lining. I guess we just take the Game Trail. Might as well get the dual land. And we do have 2 traverses, so this Nissa's Pilgrimage is, you know... So we're basically in the worst case, or almost worst case scenario. We could have just not hit a land off that vessel, but we had to come into play tapped land, which is pretty close to worst case scenario of this one land hand, and we're still doing okay, which is something that you could... I've never, ever, ever said with a ramp deck, let alone like just regular decks. So... So there's a good chance that our opponent's going to be able to deny us some mana on this upcoming turn, which is a little annoying, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it. I still haven't drawn a land. It's kind of unreal. It's kind of okay, though. We play this Greenwarden of Murasa, we may just, like, get a land. Oh, and our opponent doesn't have a fourth land? Wow. So we don't have to worry about having all of our stuff get tapped down, so that's pretty nice. So we're going to be able to just cast our Greenwarden of Murasa here, which is going to be the biggest creature on the board. And it's going to probably want to get back our Nissa's Pilgrimage. So that card's awesome. And then we can probably just start blowing up our opponent's lands. Yeah, we're doing this. Hello, land drops. And if we can naturally hit a land drop this turn, that would be really good. And man, Greenwarden of Murasa is a really sweet card. This is like every standard season, you know, I typically pick a deck that I think is the best and play it for the whole season. You know, there's sometimes where I'll switch decks because I feel like I chose poorly, but normally I just decide something's the best and I just play it forever, and I just don't play suboptimal decks. But in you know, there's always cards that I kind of wish I had played. Greenwarden of Murasa is certainly one of them. Alright, so let's see what my opponent taps down. Curious if he'll tap my Greenwarden. And he is. I almost wonder if the... Oh wow, that's a good one. That is a good one. We get the Drownyard Temple in our graveyard. That is nice. So we have a few different options here. I think I just want to... Oops. I think I just want to play the Nissa and flip it. And then start World Breakering his lands on the following turn. Work my way up to Ugin. I can just keep plussing Nissa along the way. In this game, we're kind of rocking and rolling. Our opponent's rocking and rolling also, to be fair. And I guess I want to cast this now. Use my mana. What do I even want? I guess a shrine. Could also just get another fatty. Ooh, Ulvenwald Hydra is kind of nice. A lot of choices. I think that... So I have 7 lands out. If my opponent played a World Breaker and killed one of my lands, I think the card that I would want is the Ulvenwald Hydra. So I don't think there's anything else my opponent could do on his turn that would be like that threatening. It'd be nice to have some sort of flash threat, but that's obviously not going to happen. So yeah, I'll go with Hydra. And the reason I say it'd be nice to have some sort of flash threat is in case my opponent, just plays another Deep Fiend. Taps my stuff down. And my opponent can't cast Emrakul on his next turn, I believe. Or excuse me, on this turn. Even if he goes, like, he would have to go up to 7 card types. And it seems like he already has most things. So I feel like I'm safe from Emrakul this turn, as long as my opponent doesn't blow up my lands. I have Nissa and my draw step to hit a land drop for World Breaker. Might have actually been the safest to just get a land with my Traverse rather than the Ulvenwald Hydra. Just so I could guarantee the World Breaker drop. I have like plenty of fat in my hand. If I don't hit a land drop here, things won't be quite as good. Reality Smasher. Sure. I feel like Smasher goes at Nissa, Deep Fiend goes at me. Or both at me. Both at me. Okay, well, kind of like that. Yeah, I'll take 10. So yeah, I actually probably am in trouble if I don't cast World Breaker. I think I should have gotten a land instead of this Hydra. See if I get punished. Yep, punished. Oh wait, no, what am I saying? I have 7 mana. LOL. God, you guys are probably throwing stuff at your screen. Can almost knock him out of green mana. Doesn't have a whole lot that's double green, but I feel like that's the best thing to do. And my opponent has a Deep Fiend. I don't think he can kill me. I think I should take this opportunity to attack Jace. Get him out of the way. And I'll discard. Probably actually just discard the Nissa's Pilgrimage at this point. Yeah. And this is where things are going to get bad for my opponent. Like, even if he has another Reality Smasher, it's not that good for him. I can block the Deep Fiend with my Greenwarden, one Reality Smasher with the World Breaker, and the other Reality Smasher would get through to knock me to 1. But then I'd be able to play another World Breaker, and he would need another Reality Smasher to kill me. So, if my opponent's going to go Deep Fiend, Smasher, 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 all right, fine. Like, I'll lose those games, but I feel like those are not likely to happen. And if I was worried about a third Smasher, I could even just play the Ulvenwald Hydra, get a land, and play the Advocate. So, there's that too. I need either 2 more land drops or 2 more card types in my graveyard to cast Emrakul. Emrakul can do some good work on this board since I have such big creatures that I can block with. But I think the thing that I want to do most, so long as it's safe to, is just play another World Breaker and blow up that forest while taking up my Nissa. Cutting my opponent off from green mana seems pretty decent. Obviously, I don't know the contents of his hand, and maybe he just has forests sitting in there, but you know, killing the islands doesn't seem that useful when he's got these Shivan Reefs. The other card that I could kill is just the Sanctum of Ugin. But considering it only generates 1 mana, and I'm knocking off my opponent's land drops, it almost seems like the Sanctum of Ugin's not actually going to do a whole lot. So if my opponent gets a forest here, that'll be quite telling. Although if my opponent doesn't get a forest, it may mean that he has another forest in hand or just isn't worried about World Breaker for whatever reason, or it's just like not on his radar. So, you know, it's one of those situations where I could make up a narrative about why my opponent got what he got with his Traverse, but there's really no way to be sure. And Cinder Glade is the choice. And he does have another Reality Smasher. Jeez. No attacks. Jeez. So with a land drop, my opponent would be able to cast Emrakul. But I'm gonna World Break him. If I could have hit a land drop there, it'd be really nice. So he's got the Cinder Glade. He doesn't have double green in his deck, so I think I will just take down this Sanctum. So what's scary about this is actually, do I have creatures in my graveyard? Yeah, I do. What's scary about this is if my opponent casts Emrakul, it'd be kind of bad for me. Does it say opponent controls? No, so you can exile 2 of my permanents. Jeez, that's annoying. And if my opponent just goes Emrakul next turn, it's probably going to be bad for me. You cast Ulvenwald Hydra and Sylvan Advocate. Does Advocate come into play tapped? Yeah, tapped. So actually I can't do that. Come on, untapped land. Yes. So now I could cast Ulvenwald Hydra and Sylvan Advocate. And 5, 6, 7, 8. And that would put me at 9 mana. And then my opponent might be able to cast Ulamog on his turn. So maybe there's a chance that I actually don't want to do that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ulvenwald Hydra is 9. I can play the Evolving Wilds even though my opponent won't have access to. Actually, I guess there's no point in doing that. It's like pretty bad. I guess I can also... Man, if I just had a untapped land to play for my turn, I could cast Emrakul. Oh, I'm so close to doing so many great things. I guess actually what I have to do is probably just play the Tracker and the Advocate. Kind of annoying. Guess I should have played the Tracker before I plus my Nissa, but I didn't really think out my entire turn the way that I should have. I do not want to allow my opponent to play Ulamog, so I just can't play my Ulvenwald Hydra here. I do want to just kind of play out a bunch of stuff. Five, six, seven, eight. Oh, I just did it again. Well, I just won't crack that. Oh no! Oh my god. Of all the things to draw, this is gonna let my opponent play Ulamog. Well, I guess I just hope that he doesn't notice that for some reason. All the things to draw. Man. That's gonna be bad. So here's Emrakul. And this is gonna be very difficult to rebuild from. Hopefully my opponent just somehow misses the Ulamog thing, but I doubt that's gonna happen. Ugh. Gotta take a drink after that. It's just water, but all the things to top deck, that Shrine of the Forsaken Gods is just not what I wanted to see. I wonder if maybe Ulamog's a liability. I don't think so. I mean, I missed a lot of land drops. I kept a one land hand. I just like didn't... Yeah, I just missed... Like, even though I was able to kind of stay on pace for a while, there are definitely some turns where I just didn't have a land drop. And I think normally just going Worldbreaker, Ulamog is gonna like win me most games. So it's a little unfortunate that I just couldn't do it this one. Still might get through this. So if my opponent cracks the Evolving Wilds, fails to find, plays the Shrine, plays Ulamog, kills like my Game Trail and Shrine, 5, 6, 7. I'll have access to 7 mana. So I can play the Ulvenwald Hydra and not die to the Emrakul. You know, I think I won't be dead on board, but things are still not going to be good. Really hope my opponent just like, you know, does nothing. It's probably just going to return something irrelevant, like a Vessel of Nascency. No, he's going to do it. No, 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 no. Oh, man. Unreal. Unreal. Unreal, 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 unreal. I wonder if there's any way I'm going to be able to play Emrakul on my turn. I guess one thing worth noting is that the Ulvenwald Hydra plus Worldbreaker can potentially block and kill my opponent's Emrakul. But alright, so I think I can live for 6, 7. I think I can live if I hit an untapped land drop with this. Alright, so 6 mana to play Ulvenwald Hydra, so I can double block the Emrakul. Ulamog blocks a Reality Smasher, Aisha blocks Elder Deep Fiend. Other Reality Smasher knocks me to 1. So I guess that's my play. Might as well get a shrine. Maybe I'll be able to cast Emrakul on my turn. And if my opponent has an Elder Deep Fiend, then I'm dead. My opponent has Elder Deep Fiend, I'm super dead. It's pretty insane that my opponent cast Emrakul, and with that Emrakul... Oh, that's bad. So now I think I'm dead. Yeah, now I'm dead. Man. We got so unlucky in so many ways this game. We almost did it. And we can almost block like that. 5 trample here. And then 5 damage there. I'm so pissed. I hate losing. Oh well, on to the next one. A little unfortunate. We almost got there.